Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kai here with another Exos Heroes video, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about the new core reverse of FC Mahar here. And let's go over the kit, kind of my thoughts on it, on if you should pull for this character. Don't think she's worth pulling for, but I'll kind of go over where I think she's useful, potential where she could be good, stuff like that. So let's actually go over her kit. Let's actually go over the main change here, which is this part to her passive that's been added. Impregnable Fortress, which is when the battle starts, increases own defense by 20%, and then buff if health is at 90% or above, reduces damage received by 30%. Just from the nature of this character, I feel like this is the most counterintuitive way you could possibly make this passive. So I like that when the battle starts, increases own defense by 20%. Cool. If own health is at 90% or above, reduces damage received by 30%. She's a blocking tank that wants to provoke. Why would she need to be at 90%? Like, that makes no sense to me. I feel like if anything, when her health is like below 70%, that's when she should be gaining this reduces damage received by 30%. Then if she has to be at 100%, then or 90% or above, then you're forcing her to like bring a Dorka, or the whole point of her kit is to take damage, but then she doesn't even get to reduce that much of it. You're just a big hit in the beginning, and then if she's kind of below the 100% threshold, then she's not getting this 30% reduced damage, which is a big deal in my opinion, which is unfortunate. And then the rest of her kit is unchanged, but the FC version of it actually makes a pretty big difference when it comes to her kit overall. And I think she has, like, there's a lot of things I like about the kit, but the mechanics of the game stop her from truly excelling. And I'll get to what I mean by that here in a bit, but let me talk about the rest of her kit. She block tank. That means she's going to be slow, has a lot of natural block built into her kit. She's going to have high defense, stuff like that. That's going to be what you expect out of a character that has block. Then she has Dragonite Blessing, which is going to increase damage dealt by to the dragon of the dragon's skill of order by 250%. And over time decreases the enhanced Dragon Fang effect used by machine element dragon of order by 20%. So she's very useful in Holy Dragon Grounds, specifically on Machine Day. And then Head Dragonite, this is a pretty, like, relatively rare passive that I really like on characters, especially when it's built in like this, where you have the Dragonite Blessing and the Head Dragonite. Really useful to bring in for Holy Dragon Grounds. You absolutely need to have a Head Dragonite passive on your team if you ever want to have a chance to survive between each of the phases. So this is a mandatory thing to bring in. She's one of the characters that you're going to bring in. So she's really useful on Machine Day of the Holy Dragon Ground. And then not only that, she has a really good passive that synergizes for this type of content of being of dragon, and then also being a block character that's intention is to try to take damage for the team. But she has Barrier Will here, which triggers when 70% or more of own maximum health is taken at once, can't be removed. Buff reduces all damage received, including current damage, by 50%. So that move, that if she's going to take a massive hit, she will reduce that damage by 50% for 2 turns. Reduce damage of that damage and of damage for 2 turns. And also has a debuff. Then afterwards, she's going to have the debuff of increases all damage received by 2 turns by 30% for 3 turns, which I think is fine, because the whole point of this is to, if they have this big nuking ability, she's going to take it, she's going to reduce 50% of that damage, survive it, and then odds are they're not going to have another massive move like that within the time frame. So I think it's kind of a fair, at least it adds counterplay to this passive while still being powerful, in my opinion. Lastly, we have the passive we went over in the beginning. This is the change portion. So as you can see, now that we have the full part of her passive here, Barrier Will and Impregnable Fortress, where she's going to be gaining 20% of her own defense. She's going to, if her health is at 90% or above, reduces damage received by 30%. She also, when she takes a big move, is going to reduce a lot of damage too. So she should be very tanky. Let's go over the next part of her kit, which is her A1 here, which is Thunderbolt, deals 51% damage to all enemies. Satisfy afflicts targets with provoke for 3 turns, grants reflect damage to self for 12 turns when skill hits. I think the moves on her kit are really good, where she's going to be not only an AoE, but she's an AoE provoke. So she's one of the few proactive characters that can provoke an entire team, only for 1 mana, she's going to hit everyone and provide provoke on all those characters. Most of the time, these block characters need to actually have the block passive get triggered for the provoke to actually come into effect. Like Olum is an example of that. So usually you have to wait for block 3 to go into effect, which is afflicts all enemies with provoke if an ally takes damage and their health falls below 30%. So that's not a really good way of provoking, in my opinion, because it's so it's reactive instead of proactive. Whereas with this, it's actually proactive. Like you get to provoke them when you want to. And then the rest of her passives are going to make it to where she takes very little damage, which and do damage back with the reflect damage mechanic. So all in all, like the kit synergizes very well together. Lastly, she has a single target hit, which deals 262% damage to one enemy, and then also a debuff, which decreases defense of the target by 37% of own defense for 8 turns. That percentage of defense goes up as you actually level up the character. As we're seeing the kit here, it's a level 1 version of Mahar. As you get more and more combat power, that percentage is going to go higher. And I can show that here. Let's just go to my Mahar, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So here, and we go here. Now mine at level 80, a 6-star, is 62% of decreases defense of the target by 62% of defense for 8 turns. So I think that's a really good move here. When it comes to reducing defense, I do think it's like there's characters that do it better, in my opinion. When it comes to FC, Emma, for example, is going to reduce significantly more defense than just 62% of the target's defense. She's usually reducing all of their defense. There's very few characters that can, and let's go over FC Emma just to kind of give you an idea really quick of characters that can actually do more than just 62% of the defense, because 62% of their defense is good, but then you have other moves in the game that are already ignoring defense, like Signature Force, and you have characters in the game that passively can reduce all of a target's defense. I just think it's nice to be able to show that there's other characters that can do this. This is a unique move, but there's still other characters that have this ability, and if not, do it better. And we look here. She has a very similar kit, where she has the Dragonite Blessing, she has the Head Dragonite, but then she has this Nobility passive here, which is decrease the defense of the attacking enemy by 20% of the caster's maximum health for 7 turns. If the caster survives an attack, stacks up to 4 times. So you can, even with 20%, so this is stacking up to 4 times and decreases the defense of the attacking enemy. So it's passively, you don't actually have to waste a move for it. And then 20% of the caster's health. Here, let me show you what you can actually expect out of a character that is a cleanse 3 character. This is a high-end version of it, but the amount of health you can gain from a character is pretty massive. This is not even close to as far as you can go, and I have 33k on a cleanse style character. So you can expect that same amount. I think this is unrealistic for most, but if you look at the top people in Arena, they have 50,000 HP. So 20% of 33k, even, let's say 20% of something far less, 20% of 20k, and then that's already 4,000 defense right there. And that's only 1 stack. So it's just passively, FC Emma is going to be reducing so much more defense than someone like FC Mahar. But, I just wanted to kind of put into perspective what you're getting from that passive with FC Mahar. So then now I want to kind of highlight my problem with FC Mahar that is disappointing. And this is not really, I think the kit's amazing, but the game doesn't allow it to shine in the sense that of all block characters in the game have massive, low attack speed. And there's no way to change this. And I complain about this a lot in my videos. I really don't like the mechanics of the game when it comes to this. You're just stuck as an FC Mahar. You're having to wait until they're going to go either last or close to last to be able to apply this. And I think it's a very powerful ability that is not going to be highlighted because there's no way to manipulate speed within the stats here. You're always going to be stuck with the same kind of things here. And it doesn't matter what happens if everything is the same, they're always going to get outsped unless you're, even if you're massively outgearing them, there's no way to manipulate it. You're always, the mechanics of the turn order is always going to be very similar. And really, when it comes to gearing your characters, you're just trying to beat the mirror match. Like, I gear my FC Rara to try to beat their FC Rara. I'm not, like, when it comes to a speed thing, like, I'm just trying to outspeed their Rara, because there's no way in hell any character is going to come close to her speed, and then especially when you add her passive on there. So it's just kind of disappointing, because I think FC Mahar could be really good if you can actually make FC Mahar not even the fastest character, but I mean like mid-range, like a cleanse level character. Then you would be able to provoke people actively and really disrupt them. And I think it could be a really good kit, especially for PvP, maybe in a tag team scenario. But the character going last, it's really hard for me to justify that character, especially when not only do I have to, when there's, not only is there other characters that are actively reducing people's defense passively in like FC Emma, and then Iris is removing barriers passively, whereas she has to single target, use a move, and is super slow just to remove defense or to provoke. So it's hard for me to say. It's just really hard to justify that character unless it's a setting like early challenges. I think in early challenges, she's amazing. When you're trying to do machine day challenges, she's probably one of the best you could possibly get. And then also for Dragon, I think she's amazing for Holy Dragon Grounds. And those are the two places where she really shines. So if you happen to pull her early, definitely invest into her, because she's going to be very useful for you trying to clear those content of the game, the harder versions of campaign and stuff. I think Provoke is a solid mechanic. I'm thinking more when it comes to later game stuff or things that are competitive, that's where she's not going to really shine. But when it comes to a lot of parts of the game, I think she's actually pretty solid. But it's not like she's the best at what she does. It's not like she's unique in any type of way. I would say overall, she's a solid character. Of kind of trying to put into perspective of where she could be. I wish the game mechanics would allow her to really excel, because I think kits like this would be really good if we actually had a better gearing system in the game. It's a bummer that that's not the case, because at this point it's literally just going to be fast characters and really good passives are going to be the only things that really are meta. Here I wanted to show, and just to try to visualize what I'm thinking of as a character that she reminds me of, is Agnar here from Raid Shadow Legends. I know a lot of people that watch my channel, I used to cover a lot of Raid Shadow Legends, kind of fell off with it when it came to that game, but this is the character that she reminds me of, because she attacks all enemies, places a provoke debuff on them for 1 turn, places a 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns, also places a counter attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. She almost does this identically, but in the context of Exos versus Raid. And this is a character that's known to be very good. He's a very good character in this game. He's not like the best or anything like that, but he's a very good character, because notice in this game how the speed works. 98 speed is probably on the slow end, but let's take a character that has naturally high speed. I believe she's probably on the faster end. Yeah, like Lysandra, 110. So look at that difference. That's not that much of a difference between a slow character and a fast character. And I can actually get him like kind of fast. I can't get him to be the fastest. Can't expect that unless I just completely overgear the people. But in Arena, this is something that I wish I would be able to do with a Mahar. And just imagine, instead of Agnar here, we have FC Mahar. I would have like someone that can give speed, and then boom, I am now provoking them. Look how impactful this is. They can't do anything. They're provoked. They're going to have to attack Agnar. That would be something that I'm kind of picturing in what FC Mahar can do, but that will never happen because the speed disparities in this game are too massive. So even if I put all my gear on here, he would never be fast enough to outspeed their fastest characters. So I know this is like a bad team or whatever, but you know, I think I'm proving my point and like what I'm trying to say on where I think FC Mahar could be good in when it comes to Exos heroes. Okay, so all in all, I'm thinking a character that is, I'm thinking challenges, I'm thinking Holy Dragon Grounds, I'm thinking some potentially harder campaign missions. I've never actually tried it myself. Overall, solid character, nothing too crazy. The new changes don't make this character that much better. Pretty much, I have the same exact valuation that I had before when it came to FC Mahar. But overall, just a whole bunch of wasted potential because kits like this could be really good in this game if the mechanics of the game allowed more options. So With that, guys, if you like content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord. We have a really active community on the Discord, so be sure to join that. And with that, you guys have a good one. Peace.